You're listening to LOA Recon with the Good Vibe Coach Jeanette Ma, where we dissect the ins and outs and the art and science of conscious creation, all intended to amp up your manifesting game. Let's have some fun together. Welcome and thank you for tuning in for another episode. I'm smiling because as I was just waiting for Harvey to settle down. He took a second to get sorted. I was thinking about how a client shared with me her secret theory that the only reason I have a podcast is to have an excuse to talk about my animals. She might not be too far off the mark. I do love an excuse to talk about these animals, including, so Samson, he's kind of upset today at what's going on at the neighbor's house. They're having their roof replaced, and he is not a fan of that activity. This guy hardly ever barks. Isn't that great for Great Pyrenees? He hardly ever barks, but when he does, he means business. And he's been letting me know that there's something wrong in the world when he stands at the window today. So we're intending that he is not going to do a window check while we're recording. Hey, I wanted to start this episode off with a shout out of thanks to Stacy, who left a really kind comment on my Facebook page about the podcast. She wrote, "I've only been commuting to work one day a week." Oh, hey, Stacy, just by the way, congrats on manifesting that. That feels like a woohoo right there. Okay, so she says, "I've only been commuting one day a week, so I'm behind on the podcast. It seems like each one I listen to is giving me good light bulb moments. Yay for light bulb moments." I love when that happens. Thanks for sharing that with me, Stacy. Okay, our topic today. So these are 3 habits to break for better manifesting. And these are habits that both muggles and conscious creators would be well served to give up, but especially conscious creators know these habits do not serve our manifesting game. And if we just replace these habits with better ones, that'll automatically raise our vibration and put us in better vibrational territory for dreams come true. So here's the 3 habits. Well, we'll take them one at a time. The first one, I do this one myself. It's engaging or enduring complaint fests from others. Because, look, a savvy conscious creator would never start one of those ourselves, right? At least not habitually. I mean, yes, sometimes we have a bad day. We might vent a little bit here or there, but we wouldn't do it habitually. So starting them, that's not usually our issue. And for those of you who don't have this issue, more power to you. But for those of us who do, this is a good habit to clean up because sometimes we find ourselves listening to someone who's on some sort of negative rampage, and we're politely listening or sometimes even participating just to be friendly, just to be polite, right? Okay, maybe you don't know. I hope you don't, but I do this sometimes. It usually happens when I'm hardly ever with fellow creators, hardly ever, sometimes, but not very often. It usually happens for me when I'm talking with someone who doesn't understand the power of their focus. They don't understand that complaining about this thing is going to make it even worse. I'm doing it right now, aren't I? I kind of am. See, that's what I want us to be good at, catching it and opting out. Because these are not conversations worth being in. So it would be ideal for us to redirect those conversations or to exit them altogether gracefully and swiftly. But at the very minimum, let's not contribute to someone else's gripe session. Like, don't make it your own. Don't offer your 2 cents. Don't share your own horror story to show them they're not alone. Don't back them up in the interests of being amiable. If it risks the friendship, or if it means they stop inviting you, or if it means they think negatively of you, maybe they'll call you a Pollyanna, well done! Because it is not good for your manifesting game to expose yourself to someone else's chronic negativity. It just takes too big a toll on our vibe. So our solution for this habit, you know what, I like this idea. You can get radical and you can tell those that you're in conversation with that you're off complaints. They might take offense that you call them out on it like that. But, like the same way when you're out and about, you're eating somewhere with friends or family, and, you've got to refuse the bread because you're gluten-free. Or the way, say you've got bad asthma, and you wouldn't subject yourself to someone else's secondhand smoke, right? I mean, you just take care of yourself really well and inform them, hey, I'm not doing this. We could do the same thing when someone starts a complaint fest. We could. I'm cracking myself. I really don't like to offend people. But sometimes redirecting the conversation isn't very... we got to find one way or another, we've got to find a way to stop engaging in others' complaint fests. We want to take this seriously because doing that, when we let someone else's habitual complaining become our point of focus, it can deter our own dreams come true. We know better than that. The thing is, the more we clean up our own thinking habits, the less we experience these negative rants from others. Have you noticed that? It's a vibrational thing. It's really cool how that works. So if you notice that there's a lot of complaining going on around you, it might be worth doing an internal check to see if there's anything you can work on inside first. Ooh, and I wanted to add on this one that sometimes these complaint fests show up in forms you might not immediately recognize, like maybe that Netflix series you're binging, or maybe there's a podcast you listen to regularly that's got a negative tone to it, or maybe there's a news site you check every morning that's kind of into the drama. Do you know what I'm talking about? If it's got a consistently negative tone, whether it's a person or a program or a website, it's worth reconsidering your exposure. Okay, the second habit worth dropping for better manifesting is we got to stop making up unpleasant excuses. I say I'm in this one too. Did I make this list just for myself? I might have. So look, when we're declining an invitation or we're opting out of an event, sometimes we automatically just spontaneously, we offer a reason for it that isn't true or helpful. Like when we say, we're not feeling well, or we can't find a babysitter, or we don't have the money, or we're too busy, or we're out of vacation time. When the truth is, we just don't want to. We just don't feel like it. It's not worth making up a bad excuse. We might think it's not appropriate to say to our sister-in-law or a boss or our neighbor, I don't feel like it. So we make up a reason that it's not true or helpful. And you know what? Even if it were true, it's still not helpful to reiterate something that we don't want more of. So, look, we don't actually have to justify our reasons for our choices to anyone. It's perfectly fine to just say, no thanks, or not right now. Thanks for thinking of me, though. And leave it at that. We don't have to explain why. Or, if you wanted to, this sounds like a fun little experiment to me. If we're going to make up an excuse, let's make up a good one. Not just one that they would understand or expect or sounds reasonable, but I mean a fabulous excuse. Like, I got to accept an award that night, or no, I got a super hot date that day, or I don't know. I just made those up off the top of my head. If we're going to make something up, let's make it good, right? Instead of the unwanted stuff. There's a secret to this one, too, worth knowing, that sometimes just being more deliberate in our word choice can make a really strong vibrational difference. Like instead of saying, I don't have the money, even when that's like true, or you might think it's true, instead of saying that, you could say something that's got such a better vibration in it, like, I'm not spending money on that right now, right? Just that simple wording change can move you out of being in disempowered victim mode, like, I don't have the money's in charge of me, and I don't have any. That's different than, I'm not spending it right now, or nope, we could say it in a way that's the same thing, but it's got a totally different vibration, so it can move you out of from disempowered mode into empowered choice. Okay, the third habit worth dropping for your manifesting game. That's I talked about this one recently. I know I'm not the only one who does this because I heard from many of you after I published an episode on it. I'm talking about rehearsing worst case scenarios. Yeah, you know how sometimes we do that. This episode is, I don't know, only a month or two old, so if you've been listening regularly, you know what I'm talking about. If not, go back and find it. I think it's called that, rehearsing scenarios, or I don't know, something like that. I I think you know what I'm talking about, so I'm not going to explain it. But regardless of why we have a habit of entertaining those visions of things going wrong, it's worth creating a new routine for ourselves. It takes conscious effort to retrain those habits of thought, but it is work worth doing. So when you notice you're dialed on, like what might go wrong, you can replace that gloom and doom outcome thinking by entertaining scenarios of how it might go right. You could maybe even use a question to prompt yourself to change that train of thought, like, what would I love to see happen? Or what could go right? Because whatever we imagine, we're pre-paving our future to become. It's worth remembering that we're not playing games of prediction when we entertain those different possible outcomes. We're actually creating them. Entertaining them creates them. And that is all the more reason to get better visions in place. So those are the 3 habits I wanted to share. We stop engaging in someone else's complaint fest. We stop making up bad excuses. And we stop rehearsing worst case scenarios. But you might have different habits that'll give you more bang for the buck when you change them. Whatever they are, if they're habitual, they're worth replacing because it means we're engaging them regularly. So find the habits that aren't serving your manifesting game and swap them out with new ways of being or thinking to better support your dreams come true. Thanks for listening, everyone. Happy manifesting.